Bureau was the made for the first time in this country. So how this vigilance and all these things started? So we came to know about it after this freedom struggle fallout, and that is why we always remember one person and our own first Union Home Minister, Mr. Sardar Patel. Sardar Patel, as we all know, is a freedom fighter. He tried to unify the whole country into one, which were more or less many princely states. And he had a great vision as well as determination. So we pay homage on his birthday on 31st of October. But here I would like to say one thing that Sardar Patel, apart from all the contribution that I have mentioned now, he had a big contribution for civil services, to which I belong, and the vigilance cell. He was the first person who said there should be vigilance cell in all the government organization. And when this Vigilance Awareness Week is celebrated, where in the week this birthday falls. So this was how the VAW started. What is this VAW? Who decides it? You must have come because you have been told to come, but you must be thinking, what is this Vigilance Awareness Week and who the hell gives these kind of orders that we have to celebrate it? So you may be knowing that there is an act of 2003 by which Central Vigilance Commission has been made. So the Central Vigilance Commission is the apex body. They monitor vigilance and they try to find out the reason. They give advices, they give penalty to the people who do all kind of corruptions. So they have one kind of an authority to have an anti-corruption activity in the society. So this VAW is also given by them. They only decide the date for VAW. They also decide the theme, like the theme for this year. They also decide the activities to be taken in this Vigilance Awareness Week. There are activities within the organization. There are activities which are known as outreach activities which are to be done outside. And they also mandate who have to celebrate this Vigilance Awareness Week, which involves central vigilance officers as well as the central government officers, the PSUs, the banks, the institutes, the autonomous bodies, and institutes like yours. So VAW we are organizing because CVC has mandated it to us, and that is why we are having this week in a particular week with a theme given by them and the activities told by them. So please don't curse me or Mr. Mandal that why we have been told to do all these things. These have been mandated by a very apex organization of our government, which asks us to go for anti-corruption activities. And if you see these are the logos. This works here. Iska light किससे जलता है? This is the logo of CVC, and this logo was designed by Mr. Binoy Sarkar. Why I am saying few things in the presentation, there will be few questions out of them only, and one of you must be answering to them. So this was designed by Mr. Binoy Sarkar. He was a graphic designer, naturally from Bengal, and he has designed many other logos like Airport Authority of India, Delhi Transport Corporation, etc., etc. Uh, can you guess something? Any guesses? And I would ask deputy manager to find out who is the person giving the right answer. Any guesses about this picture? Can you say something about this picture? What comes in your mind when you see? Just raise your hand, whoever wants to answer. Just raise your hands. Just raise your hands, huh?
Statue of Unity.
Very good. And where it is found?
Gujarat.
Yeah, and at what place exactly? You are quite close, quite close. Anybody who wants to answer, please, if that lady wants to answer. Devananji, the lady, second last.
Ahmedabad.
Nearby Ahmedabad, yes.
Baroda.
Very close to Baroda, 90 kilometers from there. Can we go much closer? You are very near to that, madam. Yes, it is near Narmada Dam. I think whatever you decide, but I think we have got nearby answers. It's Kevadia. The place is known as Kevadia. And the Statue of Unity is the biggest statue in the whole world as of now. Your name, please.
Prosenjit Talukdar.
Good. So, Kevadia is the place where the statue has been laid, and we are really very thankful to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you can understand by this manner that this is the place up to which you can go. Means up to the chest level, the bust of that statue you can go. And that is even 45 stories. So you can think of how tall this statue is. And it is as tall as the determination of Sardar Patel. So this VAW, as sir has already mentioned, was from 26th October to 1st of November, but it is said that if there are some holidays in between, we can stretch it forward. There was Kali Puja, so you are cursed to be here today. So that is why it has been stretched. Secondly, we have to sensitize public against corruption and we have to motivate them to fight corruption. That is why we had a small clip that the general public is also facing corruption and we have to motivate them against the corruption. And lastly, that madam has said the theme is self-reliance through integrity. So these were given or mandated by CBC. What does this logo mean? This. Can somebody raise the hand? One hand at the back.
Watching eye.
Very good. It's quite near. I think we can take that. It's vigilant eye. Yes. Very good. And can you see any kind of a letter in it? It's very far off. I don't know whether we can increase it or not. We can you come in front and see? No, she's very vigilant, I'm finding. Yeah, please. No,
it must be C.
Yes, it is C, but I am really thankful to her because she has a very keen eye. She wanted to see from very close distance. That is the beauty of a vigilance officer, basically, that we don't need to just see from far off and say this is this. We have to go keenly look into vigilantly. Yes, and what does C stands for? Can you just think of any wild guess?
Corruption.
They have answered corruption.
Nah.
Clear.
करप्शन अगर होगा तो फिर वो आई के ऊपर ही करप्शन हो गया ना. Any other guess?
Central.
Very close to that. Can you just go beyond that? Anybody who said central?
Conscious.
No, central. Exactly. Madam, आपको gift दे सकते हैं? Madam will pass on to her favorite student. And to her also. इसका नाम पूछिए तो madam. नाम?
Sanchari Dasgupta.
Sanchari Dasgupta. Very good. Director madam, you really have very bright students over here because it's not a class of science where they have an expertise. These are very general questions and I'm finding them to be very attentive to all. So the thrust in this VAW is on two issues. One is to look within, which is related to the housekeeping, weeding of files and removing all the old things from here and looking to the quarter allotment and all. I'm not going into details of that. Professor Kalyan must be looking into it. But we were more asked, as Professor Kalyan already knows, that we have been asked to make people aware about this PIDP. So what is this PIDP? PIDP is one disclose something which is in the public interest. And it's the responsibility of CBC to protect the informer. So there is a PIDP resolution 2004. Any guess who this person can be? I have already given some kind of a hint, so you can easily say. Yes.
Dinesh Pandey.
Too good. Madam, I would like to say one thing. Usually, when we go with the information, there is a continuous flow, as we say, the amyloids flow with the nerve cells, the neurons. So we go in a particular direction. I was expecting some other answer because of PIT-P, and still that person has given a very right answer. That shows how vigilant he is. A good applause to him. Very good. Yes, it was a jerky question in between. Anna Hazare, who, as you all know, had been on Anshul, and he wanted all the corruption to come in the public. And he wanted the public servants who do this corruption to be penalized. All the corruption should be investigated. So he is also one of the person who was after Lokayuk bill also. You all are from science background, so you do not believe in abstract. You say, please quantify it. Whether we can have any kind of a parameter to find out about corruption. Huh? So there is a corruption perception index also, where we find out where your country stands, how corrupt your country is. So who does that? It is done by the Transparency International. And 0 means it is highly corrupt, and 100 means there is no corruption. So naturally we will be somewhere in between, and we are on 86 number. There are total 180 countries, and we were at a comparatively higher pedestal, but we are going down. Any guess for this picture? You are able to see? You can see this? Is it difficult? You want some kind of a clue? You have heard about whistleblower? Raise your hands if you know, huh? We are ready for any kind of a guess. The first kind of a whistleblower.
Some engineering.
Yes, sir. Sir, you know everything. I know. Yes, who answered it? Mr. Pandey. Wow. Actually, this question should come just after I showed the PIT-P slide, but somehow just to jumble it up, I have placed it over here. A very young officer, hardly 30 years old, and he was from Indian Engineering Service, selected by UPSC. The details are here. So he was looking into the project which was under NHAI about the Golden Quadrangle. So he found many irregularities in that. A lot of corruption was going on for road and other infrastructure construction over there. He blowed the whistle. He said that these kind of corruptions are going on. He wanted those to put in limelight. He wanted to investigate those kind of corruption that are going on. He wanted somebody to penalize the people who are doing it, and he wanted somebody to take corrective actions against it. But at that point of time, we were not having PIT-P resolution. And because he was the person who flagged this issue, he was killed by the mafias. And it happened in 2003. After that, there was a writ petition, and then Supreme Court said that there should be some kind of a law to protect such kind of a complaint. So after that, this PIT-P resolution came. Just Professor Mandal, I just want an assurance from him, or Madam Director will be the best person to say. Has there been incidences where the complaints are there, but they are anonymous, or they are pseudonymous? They are very prevalent in my organization. That we get the complaints, but there is no name on the complaint, or the name given is a fictitious one, or the fake addresses are given. So just to say that CBC, can I have a label? I have some unrestful legs. No, I can't stand at one place. So please continue. Okay. Yes. So CVC in their annual report have said that there are around 6,500 or so complaints that they have received. Out of that, only 450 got to the exact investigation. What happened to the rest of them? The rest of them were either anonymous or pseudonymous. That shows that people inside the organization know many things, but they don't want to give their names to it because there may be some repercussions because of it. So that was the reason CVC came out with this PIT-P resolution this time, that we have to make people aware about PIT-P. What is this PIT-P? How to make complaints under PIT-P, and what are the benefits the complainant gets? What kind of protection they get? Just a small question over here. Dasgupta ji, you have to look into. Can you name this building? We have some kind of hint over here also. Can you name this building over there towards your left? Some hint is there. If somebody can raise the hand. So there is one hand over here. Dasgupta ji, here. He has raised it first.
A wild guess. Is it CBI headquarters?
I have full applause for you because to confuse, I have placed CID over here. Daya and all those people I have placed. Can you just tell me under which ministry CBI comes? Okay, I was also having that impression in my mind. Any other answer to it? He is correct in the manner that the police and everything comes under Ministry of Home because they look into law and orders. But the CBI? DOPT. Who said that? Yes. It is under Ministry of Personal Pension Grievances and Pension. Yes. And it is looked by PMO. Oh, very good. Mr. Bose, really good. It was really a difficult question. Yes, I know. So these were the posters we took out by our course. And these posters were designed by CVC. So we all, I don't know whether your ministry has forwarded these posters to you, but these posters have been given to everybody so that we can put these posters. हम लोग लाया है क्या extra 2 posters? नहीं. These posters have to be placed everywhere to create awareness. Now, what does this poster says? It says that if there is any corruption around you, please lodge a complaint, and the address has been given. Maybe it's not so clear at the back. And it says that whoever is the informer, they can give a complaint against only the public servant. That is, who are working in the central government, the state government, इसमें नहीं है, क्योंकि ये CBC का है. And against the PSU, the PSB, the institute, the autonomous body, yes, the institute like. Now again a query, the query is, do you remember as per 2020 what I said? Corruption Perception Index says where a country. Good, that lady. She placed her mask down. Your name, madam? Shonali? Seed. Oh, very good. And among how many countries? 180, yes. Good. Just to confuse you, I have placed over here 2017 and this shows some else. It shows 81. Madam, I am failing in putting all the tongue twisters and difficult things. These people are very sharp. I just want to now have a small movie. All these movies are made by my own staff or our own people. In my own office, it has been made. So it's very amateur.
अरे राम जी बोलिए. हाँ वही बिल ना, लेकिन वो तो अभी क्लियर नहीं होगा.
क्यों मैडम मैंने तो समय के अनुसार सब कर दिया था मैडम.
भर तो दिए थे, लेकिन कुछ डिस्प्यूट है.
क्या डिस्प्यूट मैडम?
चाय पानी का तो कुछ नहीं मिला, यही तो डिस्प्यूट है.
गरीब आदमी है मैडम, बच्चा कहाँ से लाएंगे मैडम? बेटी का शादी है.
ठीक है, अगले सोमवार आइए.
अरे राम, कैसे हो? ठीक हो? अरे तो उदास क्यों हो? क्या बताएं? 2 साल से एक ही बिल के लिए घूम रहा हूँ. टेंडर हुआ, टेंडर पास भी हुआ, समय के अनुसार हम डिलीवरी भी कर दिए, फिर भी आज तक बिल पास नहीं. तो अकाउंट डिपार्टमेंट में बातचीत किया? अकाउंट डिपार्टमेंट में बातचीत किया, वो लोग बार-बार सोमवार को बतलाते हैं. कितना सोमवार कीजिए? अभी तक तो कुछ बाकी नहीं है। देखो सरकारी काम में देर हो सकता है क्योंकि हर एक जगह से दूसरा डिपार्टमेंट में जाता है, दूसरा डिपार्टमेंट से और दूसरा डिपार्टमेंट में जाता है, समझे? बेटी की शादी है, पैसे की सरकार है, जल्दी नहीं हो सकता। हो सकता है एक ही रास्ता है क्या? कुछ दे दो हो जाएगा। मेरा भी दिन ऐसा ही पास हुआ है। अरे रामू नहीं ऐसे ही
मैडम को देना है ना, क्यों?
अरे चाय पानी के लिए देना पड़ेगा।
क्या रिश्वत मांग रहे हैं? नहीं नहीं, किसी को रिश्वत नहीं देगा। तुम कंप्लेन कर दो विजिलेंस।
कंप्लेन नहीं करेंगे, कंप्लेन करने से मेरा ड्यूटी जाएगा और पैसा भी जाएगा।
नहीं, कुछ नहीं होगा। तुम विजिलेंस से कंप्लेन करोगे तो तुम्हारा नाम कोई जान नहीं पाएगा।
ऐसा होता है क्या?
हाँ, चलो मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ।
इस बार पीडीपी कंप्लेंट्स के ऊपर सीबीसी काफी जोर दिया है। जो कंप्लेन दे रहे हैं वो लिफाफे के ऊपर अपना नाम ना लिखे, यानी आपकी पहचान पूरी तरह से गुप्त रखी जाए। हम सिर्फ आपके कंप्लेन को ही नहीं, पूरे सिस्टम को भी सुधारने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे हैं। करप्शन को जड़ से खत्म करने के लिए हम और आप एक साथ करेंगे। सीबीसी हमेशा आपके साथ है।
तो राम बाबू को उनकी बिल की पेमेंट मिल गई क्योंकि उन्होंने अपनी गलत भूमिका की एक कदम सामने बढ़े। करप्शन मुक्त करने के लिए ये सीबीसी और सीबीओ ने जो मुहिम छेड़ रखी है इसमें आपका योगदान सबसे जरूरी है। इसलिए आइए हम सब एक साथ मिलकर ये लड़ाई लड़ते हैं।
It was just a amateur presentation by my own people in my own office and its surrounding. We just wanted to show that how things are there everywhere, and these movies were made for public dissemination. So the issue which we have seen in this movie was related with some kind of a complaint. So the next question is, if we have to make some kind of a complaint which is under PIDP, then how we can send those complaint to CBC? Whether we can we would like to have somebody raise their hand. So it is. See, okay. Then what happened? Just an extension to that question. What happened if I send it by mail or if I send it through a complaint management? There is a proper portal for the complaint management. So if I send over there, then what happens to that PIDP complaint? Can you just elaborate? Just can think. There is a question. There is an answer at the back. Dashgupta ji, somebody wants to answer from the back.
आइडेंटिटी मतलब होती ही रहता है, कुछ नहीं रहेगा। आइडेंटिटी तो आ जाएगा। अगर आप पोस्ट में डालेंगे विदाउट आप मेरा नाम पोस्ट में डालेंगे तो मेरा आइडेंटिटी नहीं आएगा।
Correct. In this case, the identity will be known.
हर जगह में आ जाएगा।
No. I agree. But if I send with a fake email ID, suppose, I'm just saying in that case how that will be taken. Or if I send it under complaint management portal, then what will happen?
आईपी से निकल जाएगा ना, कहाँ से वो भेज रहे हैं,
Correct,
email हो
correct.
या फिर
Correct.
portal
So it
से.
will not be a PIDP, but then how it will be treated? It will be treated as a general company. Yes. So again, I have a small question. You said कि address नहीं देना है ना? Then if you go to a postal department, ask them to have a speed post. If you don't write who is sending it, will they accept it? No. Madam, you would like to answer? Send ordinary. Okay, then the movie failed in answering it. Thank you. है ना? In case of PIDP, we don't need to write the addresses on the envelope. You only have to write PIDP in bold or whistleblower in bold on the top of the envelope. If you write that, then the speed post people, means the postal people, have been given instructions that if it is a PIDP complaint, they have to take that envelope even if it is not having the address of sender. Okay. Can we have one or two questions more, if you are interested?
Please go ahead, please.
Please. Thank you. So in case of PIDP, I have made a PIDP complaint. It went to CVC. I'm sorry, I have not gone detail of that, but still I'm asking question. But still, there is a small question from me. I sent a letter. The complaint has been received. They are looking into it, and I again write over there and ask, please give me an acknowledgement. Or I ask, what has happened to my complaint? What do you think? What will happen to that PIDP complaint? Any answer to that? Will it remain a PIDP complaint? Yes or no? Anybody who want to raise their hand? I have given a PIDP complaint. It has to be very secret, very confidential. They have kept it confidential. But I have an anxiety. I want to know what has happened to my complaint. So I again wrote to them, please acknowledge my complaint. Or I have written what has happened to my complaint. If I write to that, will it remain a PIDP complaint or not? Madam has answered it.
Then recipients, who has sent the complaint, his identity will be disclosed and it will not be remain.
Very beautiful answer, madam. Usually people don't think like that. In a case, if you make a PIDP complaint, firstly, we have to address it to Secretary CVC or the CVO of your ministry. Number one. We, he, me, we cannot take any PIDP complaints directly. Then what they have a particular cell and they will look into the genuinity of the complaint. And if the complaint has some kind of factual details in it, then they will send it to us for investigation without having the names on that. So we do not know whose complaint is it. They will just change the format and then give it to us. But if we again ask any question to CVC, then our complaint is disclosed and therefore it doesn't remain PIDP. So if somebody gives a whistleblower complaint, a request over there is that we should not go into great details of that. We should never ask about it. The investigation will be done because we are facing PIDP complaints and the status and everything from CVC. I assure you all, in case of a whistleblower complaint, we are supposed to investigate it. Another question I would ask, you just one last, otherwise you will be fooled. I said about CVC. Do you remember the act, the year under which that statutory? 2003. Madam who has drawn her mask down. Madam, they don't sleep in the class. Or they don't look into their WhatsApp.
You have made it very interesting.
No, it's not at all like that. It's just the first part of it. Oh, madam. No.
Okay.
And that madam over there. Just raise your hand. He may not be remembering. This one. Okay.
She's speaking.
नाम सबका पूछ लिए हैं. Madam Majumdar asked me a very pertinent question. I will ask to her. आप कोई गिफ्ट नहीं पसंद है? एक pertinent question which Madam Majumdar has asked. Can we take gift? Is it not corruption? She has asked already. So anybody who wants to answer the last one.
No, we cannot take any gifts.
Then I should be jailed because I am giving it.
This is a prize, not a gift.
Oh, so sweet of you. So we can name something else and then we can say that I am now spared. Being in vigilance, I am not supposed to take any gift from somebody. But yes, the prizes can be given from vigilance department. And gifts can be given, but we have to disclose it after a particular amount, like 5,000 or so. After that, we need to disclose that I have received it. That's it. We certainly can receive it, but we have to disclose it. Okay. This was the first part. I would now like to go into the second part of it, and that one is not so interactive. I'm sorry. it's a case of corruption in science. So I would like to be in between because it's more like something from my heart to your heart. I believe many of you are either faculty or research scholars or students or like that. I have been, madam, in 1993, I passed out my MSc as gold medalist and I got record marks. And because my father was professor in statistics and plant breeding, so naturally I had an inclination towards research. So I went into research. I got a fellowship from DST because I had cleared GATE at that point of time. So when I was doing my research and in between I was selected as a lecturer in a college and I was teaching in a government PG college in MSc and MPhil. In between I was selected in civil services and I went over here. So from academics I have landed into vigilance as of now. Just some heart-to-heart talk with you all. Apart from all these VAWs and CBC, I just want to share something with you all. Madam will permit me. Science is something which has an awe of the society. This science is very pure. The people who are in science, they are always searching for truth. They want to discover something for the needy. They want to treat the people who are diseased. They want to eradicate poverty. They want to eradicate whatever the problems are. Science is something which is always cherished by the society. Everybody looks into science and people who are in science, they are very truthful. And their data, their conclusion, whatever they find is something which everybody strives for. They look into it. The policy makers look into it. The legislation looks into it. Do you understand what kind of work you all are doing? It's really great. The society looks up to you. But I just want to say, somewhere within your mind, it has happened with me also. You may be feeling, why I am in this institute? I would have gone somewhere in Kellogg's University or somewhere Wharton or somewhere else. However, why I am here? Sometimes we feel like this. I just want to say, you are in a very pure form an institute. This institute is very prestigious. The kind of research, the kind of studies you are doing, the kind of teachers you are having, that is something beyond your comprehension as of now. Because what I am going to say to you now, you may be knowing, but you may not be understanding it into that parameters. I am saying about people who are influencing the research. I am going deep into it. You can understand that there are people with money, big pockets, they give money, fund, grants for the projects, get the data, fake data, the results which have not been found in the lab, the data which have been manipulated, the results which they wanted to put, and those are placed in big journals. They are being marketed a lot, and on the basis of that, we get all kind of policies in the world. I'm sure you may have heard about it. The big pharma companies, they have the blood in their hand. So they give money to the big institutes. You name the biggest institute, and I can't share it as a vigilance officer, but we know that the money is given to the big institute and the research projects are going over there. Two examples I would like to give. One example is tobacco. Bengali movie, whenever you start watching a movie, what is the first thing that comes with the smoke or with the cigarette? What does it? मैं वहीं से बांग्ला सीखा था, फतिकर. Can you imagine? From 1930 to many years, tobacco, or I should say nicotine, was taken as a recreational. Can you believe that it was said that it doesn't cause any cancer or any respiratory ailment or any kind of a cardiovascular disease? Can you believe that? That it is not addictive, the research said? And it happened for years together. And that is how the nicotine was perpetuated generation to generation. And when 90s, it was proved that it is causing all these kind of diseases. And after that, the nicotine was the one to be blamed, and now smoking. Acha, even then they said No, nicotine doesn't kill. It is a recreational thing. It's the tar which kills people. So this is the way they do the research. This is the way they put their conclusions. Another, I don't know how many of them have heard about thalidomide. There was a drug, thalidomide, which was used for the treatment of leukemia and other cancers, etc. Maybe to sleeplessness also. But that was given to the mothers in the first trimester, the pregnant women in the first trimester, and that was given for the morning sickness they were having. In 50s and 60s, many children that were born were either stillborn or they were having many birth defects. And in Germany, when somebody said that it is being correlated with the thalidomide that the mother has taken, US was the first person to say with their studies and research that no, thalidomide cannot cross placenta. So it cannot affect the child or the fetus. This is the way science can be corrupted. Another example I would say about the big sugars, the sugar suppliers of US, the people who make sugar, who procure sugar, who sell sugar. They said sugar is very good for kids. They said no, a very high amount of sugar for kids has no problem. And do you know that sugar is as bad as fat? Sugar can also increase the triglyceride in your blood as fat. And that resulted later on in US a very high amount of ailments in children, and now we are finding it in our country also. This was a lobby of big sugar. How do they work? They work in the manner that they, madam, I'm allowed to speak.
I
No,
have
it's
a
bit-
question.
Yes.
So the question is, so the production in science, as you were saying, so all of these, what the examples you were giving, they are related to some money, some financial part is involved. But there are some productions in science where the people, because they want to be famous or something, they also fake their data.
Yeah.
So of course you know the
Correct.
plagiarism and there are many
Correct.
kinds of
Correct.
falsifying of the data.
Correct.
Falsifying of the data, not always for the sake of money,
Mhm.
but maybe because of the sake of fame or something.
Correct.
Does it also come under vigilance?
Yeah, under ethics it comes.
Of course.
In vigilance, we say that the data has been corrupted to give a corrupted result, so it has to be seen with the vigilance angle. That what was the intention of going for it? Madam has really asked a very pertinent question, and if you can think over it, even I have answered it, but madam, I'll take time to think more because your question is very deep. This Professor Andrew Wakefield, I just forgot. Madam has reminded me. Now, this person has not taken money from anybody. He has done a research. Now, what he has done, there is some MMR vaccine. He did a research on only 12 kids. And he said that they took that MMR vaccine and they had autism. You remember that, huh? So only 8, he said 8 out of 12. So he just extrapolated that and he said, no, this vaccine is not good. And he went for very many conferences. He went to many places. And he said, no, this vaccine is not good. So what madam said? Yes, it comes under the angle of vigilance. There is a particular cell for it who looks into the ethics part of vigilance, which covers this issue, that people try to conclude in a manner that may be detrimental to the mankind. So we cannot quantify in terms of money that how much loss he has made, but it is the loss to the mankind. It's the loss to the values and ethics. So, madam, I'm really thankful for putting this pertinent question. Again, I'm going back to my point. After thalidomide, I said there is one another thing about asbestos. If you have heard that asbestos in a very small quantity is lethal. But still in Sikkim, we are having the pipelines and everything made up of asbestos, and asbestos is given to the army officers also. Why? Because there is a strong lobby in America which says that it is not lethal. I was saying how it works. It works in the manner that with your reports, with your results, with your conclusion, you make it statistically significant. And then you say, no, up to this it becomes significant, but below that value is tolerable. It's the threshold value is this only. We increase the threshold value. So what we do, we increase the threshold value of, I don't want to name the fast food that we are eating, but we are increasing the values of sodium, of the oil, of the flour, of the sugars, and then we are saying it is good for children. It is good for kids, and kids are eating also. My kid is also eating, and nobody is restricting them because those big pocket people have colluded with some of the scientists and have given this kind of conclusion that the policymakers have agreed to that the levels should be increased. So just I wanted to say all these things to remind you that science can also be corrupted in the manner not by directly by all these big pocket people, but through us. But through us. Intellectually, they are consuming our mind to have the results which they want to be programmed or tailored in a some which is actually detrimental to the mankind at large. So please, my dear friend, while doing research, please do whatever is there. The anatomy students may be knowing that if you cut an LS or VS or any part of it, the same anatomy will come. If it doesn't, then it is an anomalous character, but the same thing will come. The physiology will give the same results. So the results will always come true one day. But please don't try to change the result for the benefit of a small part. That is my request to all of you. This is just part of what Madam has said, that whether it come under vigilance or not, let us all think whether doing all these corrupt practices should be included in vigilance or not, just to create an awareness about it. And then the last note I would like to say, just 1 minute. I was working on a plant. It was a very rare plant. So Rhytia tomatosa was the name, and I was asked to propagate it. So I wrote a synopsis where I said I will propagate it so many times under test tube, and I will then give it for field scale upgradation and propagate in the forest and all these things I wrote. This was a hypothesis that I made, but actually it didn't happen in the lab. 2 years I didn't succeed. So what do you think? Should I have given Rhytia tinctoria, another species which can flourish very well, but it is not actually Rhytia tomatosa. But can I do the research of that and then I say that I have already done? That would have completed my thesis. That would have been correct or not? No, no. That was the reason I took 4 years to complete my thesis, and yes, the results were not good, but I was able to make a plant through test tube culture. So I just wanted to request all of you to ponder upon, think over, and I think we have taken a lot of time. Yes. So I would just like to stop it over here if Madam agrees. That if anybody has read Viktor A. Frankl, and you all are students of science, so whenever there is something and we respond to a stimuli, there is a space. So my request to all of you to use that space. Increase the span of that space. Just take small time. As you get some stimulus, before reacting, just have some space in between. Use that space and then go for what is correct and what is not. That is my request to all of you. Thank you, and any questions?
So any question and comment?
Good afternoon.
I have one question. That is, does vigilance always encompasses funds or money or accounts or whatever, or can it be with malpractices in the in administrative procedures also, or any other way of functioning in the office? Does that also comes under the ambit of vigilance?
It's a very pertinent question, and I think Raj Gupta is good that he's here. Raj Gupta ji, you are an engineer. I'm just framing the question in a different manner. You are an engineer.
Yes,
Now there is one machine. Ah, do you think that any manipulation in procurement of that machine, that we had to have some other specification, we have got some other, and just saying that it is good, but however you feel as an engineer it is not, does it come under vigilance angle or not?
Yes.
So
Definitely.
definitely. So I wanted the answer from the engineer. So that
It is happening.
it's happening. So madam, anything, anywhere, wherever there is a deviation from the normal, it can come, vigilance can seek file from any department about anything. Vigilance angle can be seen even when there is a delay on when there is no decision in the file. That is also a vigilance angle. Why there was a delay in taking decision? Why no decision has been taken in this file for so long? That is also vigilance angle. But the most important part is whether a particular thing has vigilance angle or not is only under the jurisdiction of the concerned vigilance office. And that is Professor Pandal over here. Only he can determine whether there is a vigilance angle in it or not. Even if I get some kind of a letter or if I get a letter or a complaint from anywhere, even from the ministry or CVC, they will not get into my jurisdiction. They will send the complaint, they will ask me to look into, but they will wait whether I find any vigilance angle in it. So vigilance angle can be seen in anything around the world. Am I right?
Yeah.
I have a suggestion
Please,
about
that
your
will be better.
PP complaint. You told that no need to inquire. So my suggestion is you can give in your website that this kind of complaint has been investigated and this is the result.
CVC only gives number of complaint. It doesn't give the detail of it.
No, because I have a right. I have done something.
There is a time
I
span
tried
for
to
it,
do
yes.
something for the society, or the
Correct.
something is going on there,
Correct.
and if I do not know what is the outcome,
Yeah.
then
There is
my
a time
interest,
span.
my interest will be lost.
Now, there is a time span. So, if you lodge a complaint, there is a time span for it for completing the complaint. And then the results are out. If it is not done, then it is understood that the complaint didn't have any facts. So, again, a person has to make a complaint. But a person is not supposed to, because while sending another letter, it can fall in the hand of anybody. So we never want to, like, if a PDP complaint is coming from CVC to me, nobody wants that any kind of a letter is there that I can guess who that person can be. Or anybody in CVC
That
can
all the
guess.
things are with you, but public, we do not know actually what is
Usually the people who file PDP complaint are somebody within the organization only. So if the vigilance people are asking for the files, or a report is made, or it is being put up to the DA, or it is sent to the CVC for compliance, or to the ministry, people know about it that something is happening. That kind of air is there. What is happening may not be knowing exact what is happening in the file, but it gives an air to the person that something is happening. But yes, after the time span is over, they can certainly ask about the result of it, but not in between when it is being investigated. That is my request to all of you, that we should stop ourselves, prevent ourselves from asking till that 3-month period at least is over. So you can take 3+1 because it goes to the another department.
Who is looking after? Actually, suppose after 1 year, whether you have done so many things or not, you have received this much complaint and you have solved all these things. So how do you know? Is there anything to know that
Yeah.
whether you are doing or not doing?
Exactly. If you are asking about a single complaint and the fate of it, if it is not a PDP complaint, it will go through the complaint redressal mechanism. In that case, so you can certainly see what is the fate of my complaint, whether they have seen it, whether they have sent for the administrative action, they have closed it, or they are going for further investigation, or they are trying to fix somebody. That you will know from the complaint redressal management. There is a proper software, a dynamic software in the CVC website. But in case of PDP, only numbers are given, I'm saying again, because PDP is not under me. PDP is seen only by CVC. They have special cell for it. Now, any complaint, if I'm sending to the CVC, which is a PDP complaint, the cell will confirm from me whether I am the person who has made the complaint, whether I am a genuine person or not. All these things will be done. But the most important part is that cell may not be exactly knowing कि आपका complaint क्या था. So such kind of ambiguity is there. So who will answer your question? We do not know. Means you cannot come to me. Suppose it's court. You have complained it to CBC. Now you are coming to me and asking me कि मेरा complaint का क्या हुआ? I do not know what is your complaint. So that is the situation. So again, you have to either send another complaint saying that I have sent earlier a complaint, but you have to write PIT on the answer. But I am assuring you, in case of PIT, because I am facing many PIT complaints coming to me, we are supposed to look into it. We cannot put it into trash like this. They are under the statistics. They are monitored by the ministry. They are monitored by CBC, and it goes to the table of parliament.
Madam, I have a question. Few days back, I found that there are some contradictory provisions, with, not contradictory exactly. There are some provisions, for example, in procurement norms, which is written in GFR, and CBC's guidelines are deviating to some extent. Whether my submission question is that whether CBC's guidelines are binding, because GFR, for example, in few years back, procurement norms. I'm giving an example. Publishing regarding open tender, wide circulation is required.
Correct.
So daily newspaper and all these things. So CBC has suggested that wide publications may be ensured. But GFR says some restrictive manners that this is in this case not required and all this. I'm just giving you. I exactly cannot remember.
Open tender, so it's
No, I'm just not
usually,
entering in. Not
CBC
entering.
is advisory body,
Yes.
but the most important part is CBC's advices may look like advices, but they have to be taken seriously. They are not the advices where we can go adverse to them. If we go adverse to them, then it goes to the table of parliament because it is a statutory body. But usually it doesn't happen. I have never seen because we are looking
Ma'am, I
into
cannot
it.
remember exactly, but in some extent, in procurement norms, I found some areas where CBC's guidelines are
Was it related with PQ?
procurement norms.
Means was it related with pre-qualification criteria?
I think he is asking, talking about advertisement, press advertisement.
Advertisement, limited, tender related things.
ना in
tender
case of
related
limited
things.
tender, yes, उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा newspapers में नहीं देना होता है. But I don't think CBC says कि limited tender में बहुत जगह
There are different type of tenders
Tenders
listed in GFR.
I am not
Yes.
entering into that areas, detailing or I'm not detailing because.
But we are interested because we look into procurements and all these details only.
No, right. This is like the days. All the procedures has been very that after JM coming JM and all these things. This scope of these areas has been limited.
Correct.
I found that my question was that okay, whether CBC's guidelines are binding over the rules or not, because CBC is not a rule. My understanding is that
It's an
CBC is a
advice.
recommendatory advisory bodies, and it has not come with any acts or rules as passed by the parliament.
CBC itself is a statutory body. So, like, I'm just deviating a bit, but giving you an example. CBC has advised to him that give major penalty to me. It's an advice. CBC, he is a vigilance officer. He has sent a case. So, CBC has advised him, इसको major penalty दे दो to me. He has investigated and sent a report. Now, my DA is she. She is the disciplinary authority. I have gone, I am friend to her, and I have told her this is a problem. He has made a wrong report, and he is trying to fix me, and I have not done anything. And that she is persuaded that, and the inquiry report and everything is also in my favor. She is persuaded that I have not done anything wrong. But CBC has advised major penalty against me. Now, please tell me, can she exonerate me? Because it's an advice only. It's not a rule. And she is the DA. She has actually the powers, the quasi-judicial powers. Can she exonerate me? Just a question to all.
Yes, as for the office procedures and as for the government office civil service rules and all these things, this may happen. But
Do you think?
but-
Do you
but-
think?
but-
Do you
but in court of law, in court of law, this
just hold on. do you think that CVC has gone into investigation details of the vigilance and then has advised? So if she is exonerating me, then there is a vigilance case against her also. That why she is doing in favor of me.
No, it is not that, not like that.
Okay.
It
Next,
is-
next court of law. Yeah, you wanted to say something.
Yes, whatever the decision is coming as for the office procedures and the based on the facts available in the circumstances. But my question is that whether this can be challenged or in some other court of law or all these things, because CBC is not a adjudicating authorities, right?
Correct. A very pertinent question he has asked. I'm having 1 minute for it. In case of railways, what has happened is that the major penalties have been given to some people as per the advice of CBC, but the railway doesn't feel कि उसको मिलना चाहिए, and the DA has looked into and he has exonerated or has turned it into minor penalty and all this. This is not procedurally the correct way. If the DA feels कि उसको ज़्यादा सजा का advice हो गया है, then the person has to go again for a second opinion to CBC that you please please go again into it and look into the new facts that have come in the inquiry, go for the second opinion and think of whether the same advice remains or you want to change your opinion. Why I am saying so? It is a statutory body, it's an apex body, it's humbleness that they only advise. But actually, in words, it's order only. So if they have advised anything, we have to abide by that. If we do not abide by that, it may again be taken as a vigilance against a person who is not agreeing to the advice. इसको boss की तरह ही समझिए. Boss is always right. If boss is wrong, then look into rule number 1. I hope I have answered it. Yes, it can be challenged in the court, but our experiences in our cases, whenever it has gone to the court, court has said it is an administrative issue. We are not going to enter.
I have one small question that particularly in our
May Allah
country,
be able to answer.
most of the people are very reluctant to complain, isn't it? Even if they saw
Correct.
something is going on.
Correct.
And CBC is not possible to CBC to check all the files or not. So how to solve this problem? Because most of the people are not so interested in what is going on. Even if they say some corruption, you don't care about that. So this is, I think, major problem.
We have been given few ways of doing it. One, as he has rightly said, complaint is the one from where our work starts. But the another thing from where our work starts is surprise inspections. We are expected to go for surprise inspection and find it. And secondly, we have to look into the audit paras. Vigilance is always privy to the audit para. They can look into the vigilance angle on the audit para. So please give your audit paras to him. He may like to look into and then he may look into any vigilance angle in that audit para. And then thirdly, we can ask any files and look into it. Especially the files which have amount of 5 crores and above, we are more interested in that. Small files, so we do not have time to look into each and every file. But yes, the higher procurement files, we usually look into. We are supposed to look into. So when we send our reports to CVC directly, all the central vigilance officers, when we send a report, like your ministry must be sending, they have to give a detail of it. How many complaints are received? Okay. But number 2, how many surprise inspections have been made? We can make any kind of a surprise inspection. And yes, we are doing it often. But I still say one thing. He has said one thing very important. People are very reluctant. Even as a research scholar or when I was in college, I never thought what vigilance is. I never knew. क्योंकि वो मालूम ही नहीं है. We are just students. We are science people coming to the office, making diagrams, preparing our practical copies, going back. So there should be vigilant people around, like madam, who could come over here and see from very close what that logo is. So that kind of people are really required in the society, and for that only we all are here to make people aware of it. Otherwise, if people don't complain, then it's very difficult for us to unearth. Otherwise, we will be looking into everything, digging everything.
So let us thank important talk. So we learned a lot from her talk. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Dasgupta for his assistance. So now can I request our register for vote of thanks?
Thank you, Professor Mandal. On behalf of SNBOS National Center for Basic Sciences, I would like to thank Dr. Preeti Mahato, Chief Vigilance Officer, Kolkata Port Trust, and Mr. Devananda Das Gupta, Deputy Manager Vigilance, for the very inspiring and illustrative and informative talks on vigilance. For an institute of ours, teacher, where we are more into science and experimentation, and we have a group of people in different sects in the terms that we have faculty members who are doing research, we have scholars who are doing either their PhD or postdoc programs here, and then we of course have a pretty big administration team who are giving the support to the primary activities of the institute. So it is a amalgamation of people from different walks of life, and I feel vigilance is a subject matter which affects and which we all of us should be aware of, because often we receive different kinds of complaints or grievances, and of course now things are in place with the portal and online transparency and all these things, but sometimes we get confused as to what is to be treated as a vigilance thing and what is not to be treated as a vigilant thing. Because that is why my question was that does vigilance only encumbrances financial issues, or is it something beyond that? Because as I gather that CBC manual, it's a huge book and it has a spectrum of things under it. So when we talk of audit, which is kind of very active in the institute, because we have 3 audit exercises every year going on, and there are paras given by the audit, and sometimes audit is also now these days, it's just not about finances, it's about administrative issues also they are asking. So to them also I find sometimes there are vigilance things interlinked maybe. So that is why I asked this question specifically. I wanted to know. And as you rightly say, the vigilance officer is all in all as far as vigilance matters are concerned. And I request Professor Mondal to look into things, records, because surprise checks and balances, we have to report it to the vigilance when we are giving our quarterly report. I think we submit quarterly report, right? So there we have to write how many we are having all these activities. So it would be nice if Professor Mondal can go through those reports and guide us. And thank you, Dr. Mahato, for the very beautiful talk you gave. You made it very interesting and participative. And on behalf of